Today's notes are about editing your resume, how to improve both the professionalism and persuasiveness of your resume and get you the job. First tip, show, don't tell. As best as you can, avoid subjective statements like, I have great interpersonal skills or I'm a hard worker. Instead, you want to show examples of things you've done that prove that you have those characteristics. Give hard evidence of these qualities instead of just stating that you have them. One of the best ways to give evidence of like that is to incorporate active verbs as you describe the accomplishments you've made in education, volunteer, or work history. This rule about using phrases that begin with active verbs might actually sound a little bit familiar because back in semester 1, you learned in the advertising unit that verbs are generally more attention-catching than adjectives. Some examples of verbs you might use to describe things you've accomplished in your resume is starting phrases with achieved, assisted, directed, created, improved, initiated, organized, or collaborated. And those are just a few examples to get your brain going. Second tip for editing your resume is to provide metrics. Metrics really mean numerical measurements. In other words, use numbers when possible to quantify your contributions and achievements. Some of those things numbers can be used to describe include money, time, or people. Here's a couple examples of metrics a student might use in their resume. Organizing a fundraiser that raised $500 for hurricane victims. You see a number in terms of money there. Or tutored 3 students in science for a semester. You see the number of people helped out there. Or coordinated a student event that was attended by about 50 people. You could also use time as a metric, something like volunteered for an hour each week to help provide childcare at my church. The third tip for editing your resume is to revise your resume for each separate job application and personalize it based off of the job posting you're reading. You want to try to weave in specific terms used in the job description because then your resume is more likely to make it past the automated sifting system as they go through all the resumes turned in online and figure out which ones are the best fit. When you edit for each job application, you also might want to take out points on your resume that are not relevant for that particular job. You can take out unrelated hobbies or coursework that isn't relevant for that particular job or experience that has nothing to do with that particular career. Unless you need to keep all of those things to make your resume fill 1 page, then go ahead and keep it. There's a couple other things you can leave out of your resume to streamline it. Your home address, for example, is optional. The important thing is that you have your contact information like email and phone. Labels on your contact information like phone and then the number, I would also recommend taking out if you need to save space. Because if someone sees a phone number, they know that's a phone number. They don't need the label before it. Also, you only want to bother to have your GPA listed under education if it's particularly impressive. In other words, if it's over 3.0. If it's below 3.0, just leave it off. You have other ways to show that you would be a good hire.